My name is Neil, and this is a dietary consultation on the 15th of March. Yeah, hey. Thanks for coming in
Hi,
today.
thank you.
Alright, so we've already been over the exercise stuff and the APSS screening forms.
Yes.
So what we have here is the dietary guideline, well, habits questionnaire.
Yep.
So I'll just type in your name first. Today. Alright, so what is your dietary goal?
Weight loss.
Weight loss?
Yep.
Yeah, and do you have any special requirements?
No.
Alright, so you're five different questions, just roughly on how many serves of whichever topic one of the questions is.
Okay.
So the first one is vegetables. So how many serves of vegetables do you usually eat per day?
I'm not a great fan of vegetables, so not a lot. No, maybe
0 to 1?
Yeah, maybe 0 to 1.
Yeah. And how many serves of fruit do you usually have per day?
Lots.
Lots.
Yeah. I also
6
like
plus?
6 plus. I also like dried fruit.
Dried fruit.
So I eat a lot of dried fruit, like for snacks.
And how many serves of bread and cereals do you usually have per day?
Probably 4 or 5. I would say.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many serves of dairy do you consume?
Yeah, also quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
I would say more than 6. Yeah.
More than 6. And last one is how many serves of meat and alternatives do you consume per day?
Probably on average about 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah. Alright, and here's one more question, which is just discretionary choices, so what you have outside of them 5 categories.
Okay.
So looking at the list below, how many discretionary choices do you think you have in 1 week?
Yeah, I would say probably about 7 to 9.
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
to 9. Yeah, and we will come back to the rest in a sec. Alright, so once that's done, we are going to cover a few more topics. So the first one is what I can do as a personal trainer.
Yep.
So I'm not qualified to give you any like fitness programming, dietary programming or anything like that.
Okay.
All I can do as a personal trainer is just refer you to the Australian guidelines.
Okay.
Or dietary guidelines.
Yep.
Yep. And there's 5 guidelines that we try to follow as much as we can. First one is to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. So that's by being physically active, choosing the right amount of food and drinks to have through the day.
Yep.
Second one is having a variety of foods. So that's the 5 food groups we covered. So vegetables, fruits, dairy, meat,
Yeah.
and grain. Third one is limit intake of food that's high in saturated fat, added salts, sugars, and then alcohol as well.
Okay.
Fourth one is encourage, support, and promote breastfeeding. And the last one is taking care of your food, so that's preparing it and storing it safely. Alright, so from here I will run you over on how big a serve of each of them 5 categories are.
Okay.
So grainy foods is roughly 500 calories per serve. Leafy greens have the big variety, but it's no more than 350 kilojoules per serve.
Okay.
Milk and yogurt is about 500 to 600 kilojoules per serve. Lean meats is 500 to 600 again. And then the discretionary choices is about 600 per serve as well.
Okay.
Alright, so from here I will just show you roughly what the diet looks like of what they recommend for female your age.
Yep.
So basically it is 5 serves of fruit per day, 5 serves of vegetables per day, 2 serves of fruit per day, 6 serves of grain, 2.5 of meat, and 2.5 of dairy.
Yeah.
So that should be around 6,600 kilojoules per day.
Okay.
And then I'll quickly run you over roughly how many you have per day. So with vegetables, you have 0 to 1 per day. So that's roughly, I'll just put in 0 kilojoules for that one.
Yeah.
Fruits, you are very high in that, and snacks, so we'll just round that up to about 2,800 per day.
Okay.
Breads and cereals is about 1,000 kilojoules per day. Dairy is roughly 2,500 kilojoules per day because it's a bit high. The meat is 2,500 kilojoules again. Discretionary choices is about 600 kilojoules.
Okay.
So in total, you are about 9,400 kilojoules per day.
Okay.
So that's about 2,800 above what they recommend you being.
Okay.
So yeah, that just means some of the foods that you consume might just be a bit high in calories, and you can swap that out to a lower version of it.
Okay.
Alright, so you train vigorous and moderately,
Yeah. A couple of times a week.
Yeah, so with that, we usually add between 3,000 to 4,100 kilojoules per day.
Okay.
That's just because when you exercise, it burns energy, and you're gonna have to replace that energy to continue going.
Yeah.
So because you're trying to lose weight, we will add a bit less than 3,000,
Okay.
just because your calorie intake's already high. So we're just trying to limit that so you can stay in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
So we'll add about 2,500 kilojoules per day.
Okay. So what would my goal kilojoule intake then be?
So we'll go over a couple strategies and how you can lower your intake, and then I can get back to you on that question.
Okay.
Alright, so I have a couple of strategies that you can do to help you achieve the lower kilojoule intake. So the first one is trying to swap out the dried fruits to normal fruits.
Okay.
That's just a bit lower in kilojoules. The second one is having, in between breakfast and lunch, you would only have 2 snacks. So in between breakfast and dinner, you would only have 2 snacks.
Okay.
One in between breakfast and lunch, and then lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just lowering it by a tiny bit, and try and stay to the lower end of kilojoules for that. The third one is trying to dial back the intake. So if you struggle with that, we can swap normal milk and cheese and stuff like that to low fat.
Yep.
And if that's still not helping you out, you can do alternatives. So that's like almond milk and soy milk.
Okay.
Those are also very low in calories.
Yep.
And the last one is adding more vegetables instead, as snacks instead of
like fruit or dairy.
You can still have fruits and dairy, but instead of nuts and stuff like that, you can have the vegetables instead.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you lower your intake to so you're at 9,000 now, 9,400 per day. So if we can lower that to about 7,000, and then we can add more to it, another 2,500 to it with the exercise.
Yeah.
So you will be around 9,500 kilojoules per day.
Yeah.
So that's roughly what you eat now, but yeah. And then as we get used to that, we'll lower the calories again, just to keep your body in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you reckon you need a referral, or do you want a referral?
I think maybe you should
Yeah.
do a referral for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Maybe just keep in mind that I do have high cholesterol. If you do a referral.
Alright, so I can put that in. Yeah. And that's all for